Good evening. Welcome to episode 241 of the Brewgooders, the beer, comics, and assorted Geekery podcast. We're back as a team after about fucking 6 months. How long's it been? About 6 months.
It's been a while. I think the last time we spoke, I'm fairly sure we said we'll see you in the new year. So, you know, which happy New Year.
I don't think it's been that long. We talked about Captain America in the last episode, so that was
I wasn't
February
for that. I must have missed that one. Do you want me to join in? God, it was awful, wasn't it? It really was. Just a mishmash of ideas, all of them bad.
I want to think that I missed it, but then I can see like on the, if you look at our episodes on YouTube, it will say like 240 Captain America, and then I'm the picture. So
I thought you were going to say I can see the 2 hours of my life that I'm never getting back watching that.
Oh man.
Like,
had a lot of that this week.
Mess.
Yeah, so thank you for the patience. Thank you for bearing with us. And like I say, I have to go and spend 6 months getting my life sorted. So hopefully that's, I was working a job where like the guys were waiting to do podcasts, and I was like, I'm like stuck at an airport, so I'm not there anymore. But yeah. So
you were an international man of mystery, you were, but you gave it up, Jeff, to do something less exciting instead.
Well, it's supposed to be less exciting, but as you guys are well aware, I think the word exciting gets thrown around a lot. Like I've discovered that like stress can come from the most mind-numbingly boring of sources. That's what I've learned this week.
Mm-hmm.
So, but that's for another podcast. How are you guys doing? What's happening?
Podcast.
Doing pretty well. It's happy to be back. There's been a lot going on, I think, this year. But glad to be back, and hopefully we can make it a more semi-regular occurrence. There's been a lot happening. I think we've missed a lot to talk about.
Yeah, it's been like, I think even just focusing on like the beer and comic side of life, like even then, like since take it, it's like mid-February we last did a podcast. We've missed. I know my favorite TV show came back for a season. I've still not seen it. I've not seen season 4 of The Bear yet. I feel really bad about that, but
I'm only on season 3. It's very good though. Yeah,
that's tremendous. I heard season 4, for example, just that one show, for example, season 3 is regarded as a bit of a misstep or a step down in quality. And like, from what I understand, season 4 is like, it's almost like season 3A and 3B, and like they were bigging up the first half of a season for the second half. But from what I understand, season 4 is amazing. Still haven't seen it. I don't have access to all the shows I used to have at the moment, so I've not caught up with any of the stuff. But we've had like some amazing movies this year as well, and all that kind of stuff. It's been a bit of a mad year, and we haven't. Usually we meet every Thursday to talk about that shit. It's basically the whole point of the podcast, isn't it? It's an excuse for us to like talk about the stuff that no one else wants to hear us talk about.
Just to talk about stuff we've seen, stuff we've read, stuff we've heard, and what we agree with and what we didn't. And what we're looking forward to. I mean, there's been a lot come out this year. I've not seen much. Movies in particular, there's a couple of movies have passed me by that I'm really hearing so many good things about that I'm almost scared to watch them. Like Sinners. Everybody I've spoken to says it's absolutely phenomenal. And I've not been able to catch it yet.
I've not.
Come to a streaming service now.
Yeah, totally. Exactly the same. And also, I don't know about you guys, but like I did most of my drinking. I know, John, you don't really drink, but I do most of my drinking on Thursday night, and I've found beer. I've had to like reacclimatize myself to beer. I don't know if anyone else. I know you had a health kick like last year where you were spending a lot of time, Andrew, not drinking. But I don't know if you found that when you started drinking beer again. You're like, I hate this.
Yeah, well. I didn't drink as much as I used to, and when I do drink, it's like when I'm alone in the shed. It's like I didn't have. I used to be able to go and drink a few drinks and just keep beer going, and I don't know. these days I'll have 2 or 3 drinks, and then I really could fancy a gin and tonic. I think I'm a changed man. Definitely. But aye, for health reasons.
Oh, totally. I just didn't have the time. Has everyone got a beer this evening? Has everyone managed to get a beer?
I have nothing spectacular. I'm on a cheap Mexican lager. No lime, because fruit doesn't belong in beer.
All right, and kill.
Although that is an exception. There's a wee bit of lemon or something like that.
I did see some of the new King of the Hill, and there is this particular scene that's like Andrew.
There's somebody moaning about beer. Should taste like beer.
It's Hank is Bobby's brewing beer,
mm-hmm.
And Hank's just like, I've been drinking for 35 years and I've never ever thought that I needed a fruit in it.
Yep. That's where I was for a long time. But like most Scotsmen, I was. Yeah. How is that laddie not grown up? Are they just the same age as they were back in the day?
They've not changed that. It does look a bit different. Hank has, but Bobby's about the same height as him now.
Okay.
Yeah.
I never watched it, but I noticed it's all on Disney Plus. So
is it?
I think I might. Yeah.
Oh, I've got Disney Plus. I can go and have a look at that now.
That's interesting as well. I thought it was it was an MTV thing. King of the Hill. It mustn't be. It's been Beavis and Butthead is, because that's all. Beavis and Butthead's all on. You can't get that unless you've got Paramount Plus.
Right.
Because that's MTV on that. So yeah, I don't have it either.
Beavis and Butthead was a child of its time. Like, I mean, Beavis and Butthead was a one joke show that kind of, served its purpose in the sort of late 80s. Surely nobody still watches Beavis and Butthead, do they?
The movie was quite good. I think I reviewed it on the show. We did it. It was Beavis and Butthead versus the Universe or something.
I was going to say the movie was the 1990s as well, was it? No, but is there a more recent one?
Yeah, it's called
Beavis and Butthead Do America or something.
Yeah, they've got one there called Beavis and Butthead. They've got one called Beavis and Butthead Do the Universe now.
Oh, right, okay.
I think it came out as, I think Paramount Plus came out as one of the the things they launch it with. Oh, we've also got a new Beavis and Butthead movie. I enjoyed it. It was good fun. When everyone got Paramount Plus for that 1 week, that was free, so you could you just crammed in all the South Park and Jackass that you could for a week, and then
I think I got the final season of Yellowstone, because that was the only place that you could get it at the time.
Yeah.
That was a disappointment, by the way. That was like fucking hell.
Yeah, I would have Yellowstone's on my list.
They treated Kevin Costner pretty badly, I think. Don't get me started. The first week back.
Kevin Costner's made a career. We should do a top 5 go on the top 5 times Kevin Costner was
screwed over. I think
number 5, The Postman.
They had to move the production for various reasons, and then he was in the middle of making a movie which was really, really well received. So instead of waiting for him, they basically just killed him off screen. They basically just went in one day in the second half of a series, and you seen his feet.
No spoilers for those of us that haven't watched it.
Sorry,
we just said that. Oh,
no spoilers.
Don't need to watch it now. Don't need to watch it now. That's fine.
Unless he comes out the shower. Unless he comes out the shower at the end of the season.
Possibly,
yeah, I hope so.
But honestly, it feels like it was one of those ones that was 4 seasons of greatness, and then a 5th season that's just like, I don't know.
Shite.
Not shite, just a bit disappointing. I'm convinced the guy who wrote it, this Tyler, what's his face, like, he just hates everybody. He cannot have a happy ending in any of his shows. Like, right, okay, so at the end of the show, everyone dies. It's just like
that is Andrew's review of Corona.
I know
the Mexican lager,
the Mexican boy. He should have stuck to being the sheriff on Sons of Anarchy and not tried to be a writer. That's what I think.
What are you drinking, Stu? Stu, who, if you're following the lager logs like I am, you're forever on beer odysseys. It's amazing.
It's catching up to me because it takes so long to edit them, but when they come out, they're awesome.
That's the whole point of the word Odyssey. I mean, it took Odysseus 20 years to get back home. People bandy around the word Odyssey. I'm going on an Odyssey. That means I'm going for 3 hours. That's not an Odyssey. Matt Damon. Matt Damon's.
They're selling tickets for the Odyssey. I think that is that
honestly,
an ironic joke?
It's not until next year, is it?
No,
you can buy tickets now. I think that is that a joke about dynamic ticketing and like
who would buy a ticket a year in advance for a movie? I could be dead. You know what I mean? I bought my Superman tickets like 10 days in advance, and I was like, oh, what have I done?
You know, ultra fancy edition, 70mm IMAX. So they just put up an image of, let's say, 30 cinemas in the world showing it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So there's 2 in London. I think that's all the UK's getting. So I guess that's
probably the only 2 IMAX cinemas in London. And don't insult me by saying, what about Dunfermline? Because I was there last week, and that's not fucking IMAX, I'll tell you.
That's IMAX.
Will it only be in 70 cinemas its entire cinematic run, or is it just?
No, I think it'll have like a more generic. Like it'll be digital everywhere else. But I think like for those like cinephiles that love like film on 70mm, things like that, you'll only be able to go to certain places to see it. It was the same when Tarantino had The Hateful Eight, and he done it like a touring show where it was an extended version of the film on 70mm, and then after that it was like digital, and I guess sort of standard everywhere else.
People would have went to see that though, because The Hateful Eight had Kurt Russell, and it was brilliant. Like I'm not going to say the Odyssey's probably going to be a really decent movie, and the cast looks really good, but it doesn't have Kurt Russell. So
it's Nolan though. Like like I didn't realize. Obviously, like Sonny is surrounded by like chat with me and Sean and that talk about movies. Even Sonny at 9 years old knows who Christopher Nolan is. He hasn't seen a Christopher Nolan film. He's seen bits and pieces. Like when you know, if me and Sonny Sean got one on the telly and he's like walking through the living room and that, he'll be like, "Boy, he's watching." So he's seen bits of Inception, for example, you know, that kind of stuff. But but he knows that a Christopher Nolan movie is like a big thing now. Like it's like it's an event, isn't it? Like
it is, and they're undeniably spectacular. But if I throw out, you know, Inception's really, really good. Interstellar, Tenet, you know, are they good movies, or are they just good looking movies?
See, I love Interstellar. I've got my wee up here, my Interstellar picture. Up here, my fucking.
Oh yeah.
I
enjoyed it, but I've never had any inclination to watch it again. And I think that's true with most Christopher Nolan ones, apart from Inception, which is, you know, very good.
I watch Dark Knight Rises all the time. Just for fucking being them.
Obviously, get away from the Batman ones. The Dark Knight, I've watched multiple times, but apart from that, you know, I don't know. I'm not convinced.
Every once in a while, we do there's a double bill that makes no sense, but it makes all the sense, where you watch Interstellar and The Martian back to back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it just works. It is a bit like 5 hours of your day gone, but it's still quite satisfying.
If you're trying to imagine that the Matt Damon character is the same character that he got back to Earth, and then because he'd survived Mars, he was sent away to do this other thing.
He done that stupid Iron Man thing where he pinched a hole in his suit and he just landed on the ice planet and
landed
was
on the ice
rescued
planet
by a talking fridge.
Aye. Yeah.
What was his character called in Interstellar?
Oh, you tell me this all the time.
Because it was Watney. Was it Mark Watney?
No, that wasn't Mark Watney.
Yeah, something man.
I just imagined they'd done this. Oh, it was Hugh Mann, wasn't it?
Hugh Mann. His name, Dr. Mann. They don't ever call him Hugh Mann on screen, but he's called Dr. Mann, and his first name's Hugh.
Middle name.
Is that John? Is that not a character in comics? Hugh Mann. Is that not somebody's like nom de plume in comics? I thought that it sounded familiar to me when I first heard that.
There's He-Man.
There is in the movie for that's coming very soon as well. I'm really, really excited for that.
Yeah, that'd be good fun.
Sit on Earth.
Oh, they tried that before. Like,
you not seen the set pictures?
It's Courtney Cox in this one.
It's
No.
Courtney. It's Courtney.
No, it's
Skeletor.
it's Veronica from Riverdale's in it as Tila,
Oh,
and I think Idris Elba's Man at Arms. I think.
Idris
That's
Elba's
good.
always good.
Yeah, that's
So, yeah, no, I've seen the
he's
set
playing-
pictures, and it looks like he's on Earth, wearing a pink shirt, looking like Prince Adam. So we think he ends up on Earth, forgetting his memories or something like that. Then he remembers his He-Man.
that's Thor, though, isn't it? That's the first Thor movie. You know, that fish out of water comedy.
That's the Thor comic. Yeah.
Well, the Masters of the Universe movie, obviously, they couldn't afford the sets for Eternia and things like this. So that's why it was just basically all set in New York and shot in Montreal, probably.
Yeah.
Just, Ken, why? Like
This is like we'll come back to Stu's beer very, very quickly. But I was quite annoyed when Colin put that picture up about the different Bruces at the Bruce Fest yesterday. And I was this morning, sorry, and I was annoyed that Bruce Springsteen wasn't one of the 4 Bruces that he'd put there. Who is the lady that he pulled? You know, the Dancing in the Dark video. Who does he pull out
Courtney
of
Cox.
Courtney Cox, yeah.
Yeah.
Courtney Cox, yeah.
He pulls her out of the obscurity that was the Masters of the Universe movie. Yeah, I fucking hate that film. Like, it really, really, like, no,
I
I
watched it since I was a child.
I remember
Saw it
watching
in
it
the
as a
cinema.
child and being like, this is
Great.
shit. Like,
Great. I love it.
as a big Masters of the Universe fan, I did probably like it at the time in the same way as I liked like Superman 4 and things like that. You know, it's just like it was what we had at the time. Looking back, you think, okay, rose tinted spectacles, but I want to see better done by it this time. Because He-Man, it feels like He-Man came along and was the first of the big, cartoon based around toy line sort of cartoons, and it was followed up by Thundercats. And in the 40 years since that happened, since he was the fucking trailblazer for this sort of thing, we've had 1 Masters of the Universe movie, and correct me if I'm wrong, 17 Transformers movies. It's just like, why? Yeah, He-Man was much better than the Transformers. Controversial, but there, I've said it. I've said it. I loved it, and the recent He-Man show, the Kevin Smith one, was Revolution and Revelation was absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, they were good.
Very good. Very good.
That's what I want to see. I want to see storytelling like they did in, particularly the first season of that, with all the different Guardians of Castle Grayskull. It was just so good.
It was a pretty epic. I will go and see the film. I'll take Sally to see it. That's got Glenn Rothfuss, Kino written all over it. That kind of movie.
I want to experience that in IMAX, which doesn't mean Dunfermline. I'll try the Edinburgh one. Maybe I think the Edinburgh one bigger. Is the Edinburgh one proper IMAX?
I don't know. Never been.
Never took my measuring tapes out. But...
Yeah, I've never been like.
The thing is, the Odeon is proper IMAX.
Yeah, but the IMAX should be the screen should be much bigger than the screen in a normal screening. I mean, it does have I know the IMAX is about the picture quality and the movements and stuff, and the seats aren't very comfy either. It's reclining seats. They were bloody expensive for not.
They weren't that comfy, to be honest. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
And the screens, I remember, I'll just think like here, because John, you're probably the only one remember, but the screen size, you expect an IMAX screen to be things like this. And I remember as a kid going to like the Odeon in Edinburgh and, the Canon on things sheet. And the screens were, 4 times the size of what this IMAX screen was. I seen the Wrath of Khan in 84, maybe I think it came out, on a screen that was like, 5 times the size of my house. That was an experience. This IMAX, come to IMAX now. It's an experience. It's just loud. It's just really, really loud.
No, yeah, cinema screen used to be bigger. Yeah, it used to be bigger. But obviously, more screens, more times you can show the film, more bums on seats. So that's how it all became.
There was only
smaller.
2 or 3 screens at the Odeon, wasn't there? Whereas in the same sort of space
I think
now.
Lothian Road, there was 2 or 3. Now there's flats where the cinema used to be. But
that's the ABC,
That's
and
odd.
then it was the Canon
Yeah.
sort of thing.
So the film
Yeah,
house on
yeah.
the film house on Lothian Road's back open.
Yeah,
The film,
that-
the film house is the arty one, but it's
Yeah.
really good. But the big one that was on Lothian Road, I saw like Top Gear there as well, and it was just like it was an experience, man. First date with Gina to watch what's the Macaulay Culkin one, the Home Alone.
Your first date with Gina was a good see it.
First time we went to the cinema together was Home Alone.
That's fucking quality.
And
Can I tell you what was the first film my wife and I went to see? The Mrs. and I went to for Dracula, Dead and Loving It.
Oh, yeah, Leslie Nielsen.
Leslie Nielsen.
That's a banger, man. That's a good one.
And the second film, The Preacher's Wife, with Denzel Washington.
Beyonce. That's
Oh
Beyonce
my
as well,
God.
isn't it? Aye.
No, Whitney Houston.
I said Whitney Houston, I beg your pardon. Aye, Whitney.
Yeah, that was a
Denzel
snooze
Washington.
fest.
That's a remake, yeah, like a black and white film with James Cagney or something.
I don't pick. I don't pick.
You didn't pick that one, did you?
See.
you didn't pick that one, did you? That's like I remember going to see What Women Want with G, and it's like that wasn't my choice.
I do remember going on a date once with another lady to see Street Fighter with Jean-Claude Van Damme. Oh my God.
Street Fighter with Kylie Minogue. Thank you very much.
Mhm.
Wow.
What's the? Oh, go and somebody explain the joke to me, because see that the last couple of days, I'm seeing this this trailer for Mortal
Johnny
Kombat
Cage.
2. Johnny Cage, aye,
Yeah.
and stuff like this, and people are like, aye, all the people that didn't get the joke, and I'm one of them. I'm like, was he in Mortal Kombat?
Yeah.
They're not actually making Mortal Kombat 2 with him, are they? Is it I assumed it's a joke, like a fake thing.
Like the eye trailer or something.
Carl Urban is in the film as Johnny
playing
Cage.
Johnny
yeah.
Cage.
But they've just created like the marketing campaign. They made a joke campaign around Johnny Cage. Yeah.
And be Johnny Cage.
So Mortal Kombat 2 is coming.
Yes.
Yes,
Or is it
the
already
trailer's
out?
online.
Right, okay.
He's supposed because Johnny Cage is supposed to be like, I don't know. This is my knowledge. Johnny Cage comes from playing it on the SNES, and then the first movie from the 1995. Johnny Cage is a movie star, isn't he? Who wants
Who's
people
part of-
to take it. He wants to be legitimately regarded as, because he's a great martial artist, but because he's like a film star, folk just assume he's like an actor.
Right.
It's like Chris Evans and Scott Pilgrim as Lucas Lee.
Yeah.
You know. Like that kind of
If
thing.
taken seriously.
Hey,
I
Stu,
looked
what
at it, I
were
assumed it was
you
not an
drinking?
actual movie. So he's finished it. He's finished.
Yeah,
He's gone.
It's delayed. It's
What was
away.
it? What was it? Seriously, not been together for so long.
Abernite Brewery's Stark Lager.
Oh, Abernite, man.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think.
Nice.
I think. one
What
of the
kind of
first
lager
beers
is
that
it?
we ever
It's a lager.
reviewed.
They just called it Stark Lager.
How strong? Stark, as in how stark? As in winter is coming. Yeah,
Yeah,
winter is
I
coming.
don't think they were referencing Game of Thrones, but 5.2.
5.2%. Yeah, it's stronger
bro.
than I think it is. Nice.
Yeah, it was
Just-
really nice.
Yeah. Sorry
Okay,
about that. Sure, you need to be more jumping in.
Certainly.
Yeah, I'm talking.
Abernite's up by is Abernite up by? It's like near Perth, isn't it? It's on that road between Perth
Yeah,
and Dundee.
I mentioned something about it. Abernite Perthshire, yeah. South
Yeah.
Black Barn.
It's on the way. If you can, it's signposted if you go out towards like Dundee from Perth. Abernite. It's kind of close to Errol, I think. It's nice. Yeah. I think me and Colin had an Abernite like really, really early on in the podcast. So it's nice to see that they're still going.
Yeah,
You
I
had,
was-
you had an Abernite, was that? An Abernite. You just watched Mamma Mia back
Yeah,
to
that's
back.
right.
An Abernite. That's what I'm hearing, yeah.
Very good.
That's what I'm hearing, yeah. That's what I'm
Yeah.
hearing, an Abernite.
Yeah, the weather takes it all.
No.
It's good to with so many like local breweries and small breweries closing. It's like I also kind of feel guilty because it's like actually probably if I was drinking enough of their stuff to stay in business, I would know they were still open. So it's
Have you
kind of
Are you around Caledonian craft? Do you go to the CCBM to sort of get your beer, or you
Nah,
just
not
picking it
really.
up local now?
Yeah, local or I like it's so easy. Like I was in where was it the other day, and I noticed I was in somewhere that was like not small, like a kind of supermarket, and they had like Brutu and stuff like that. You know, stuff that traditionally you would have to go to the CCBM to pick up.
Hmm.
I think they're doing okay. I don't live anywhere near it anymore, so like, I don't go there and make it hardly ever. I have to.
Right.
I'll get to it. I'll talk about comics, but yeah, I'm hardly in the bulk shop of heroes that often either. So
You can get.
I'm one of those
I
guys.
was in Tesco's today, and I was having a look at beer, and I ended up just picking up some lager, as you can see. But I'm always disappointed by how much punk there is. But Tesco's now has got all the Tiny Rebel stuff in the thing, which is it's nice to see a slightly smaller brewery, although they're becoming quite a big brewery, doing away. But aye, there's some good stuff, and neck oil and things like this. So, all sorts of good stuff.
Yeah, well, I remember this when we first started doing the podcast. I remember us getting quite excited. We did like a night, and I think Michael Phelps came along. That the first one of memory serves. Michael Phelps came to the first one, and so did Barry Lumsden, and it was like one of the first times we did like a night of Bevan in Dunfermline based on craft beer. So we started in the CCBM in their tap room, and then we moved to the Old Inn because the Old Inn had a Gamma Ray from Beavertown on tap. And we were all quite excited because that was, unless you went up to like the commercial, that was like the only other craft beer on tap in Dunfermline. And now everywhere, like neck oil's a staple of most pubs, you know.
Yeah, no, that's it. Get it everywhere.
Like, is it Heineken that owns Beavertown? So it's not quite craft. And like you say, Tiny Rebel's getting bigger all the time. They I know like people that go to Cardiff specifically because that's where Tiny Rebel's from, and they'll go down that way to get a taste of like. Tiny Rebel have got apparently like a bit like Stuart Brewing. They've got like a big facility that you can visit, and it's got a tap room on site and a restaurant, and they hold like their own music festival every year and stuff. So like they're doing quite well.
Cool.
But yeah, certainly when I discovered Tiny Rebel, my favorite brewery, I think, or one of my favorite breweries. I discovered Tiny Rebel at the Caledonian to the CCBM, and then I remember Tesco's doing like a craft beer festival. And they had like one kind of Tiny Rebel, and it wasn't amazing. It was like a collab I think they were doing where Tesco's had gone and like grabbed a beer from every brewery. But now you can get the entire Tiny Rebel line in Tesco's now. You get like their Club Tropica and stuff. So
yeah.
But they don't Tiny Rebel don't experiment like the way they used to either. They used to have like quite a few beers that they don't do anymore, like their Jam Donut IPA. Which was
thank God. Good riddance to bad rubbish, as they say.
And they used to do like a toasted marshmallow porter. That was really good as well.
Why?
Because
you're just trying to trigger me now, aren't you? That's what you're doing. It's just throwing nonsense out. They did a fudge special. It was amazing. You're just trying to trigger me.
Yeah, I am. No, the toasted marshmallow porter was amazing. I wasn't massive in porters, and that was kind of a gateway. I love a porter now, but that was a gateway beer. I'm glad to see that Aberdeen are still going because when we talked about it the last time, there's so many craft craft beer was a massive part of the podcast when we started because we were genuinely like able to like grab beer from like down the road, and now it's not like that anymore, you know.
Yeah.
So, I'm drinking a Joker IPA, which is Williams Brothers, based in Iowa. So,
it's always reliable. I like a Joker. It's always reliable.
Yeah.
I had two of their non-alcohol beers. I think it was like Alien Form. It was like Stone Fruit IPAs, and really good.
Yeah, they're like you say, they're reliable, but they're obviously relatively cheap as well. I think they're licensed to Aldi or somebody like that, or Co-op or something. So they just like I think they mass produce. Like they're quite a big brewery, and they I don't think you get their beer. I've not seen their beers like in shops other than like bigger like Morrison's and stuff like that. You know, they seem to have some sort of deal like that way. But every so often I'll be in a pub and they'll have Joker on tap, and that'll be quite a surprise. Yeah, very rarely. I think the last time was like a year. I was in those at Bannerman's in Edinburgh, and they had it there.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good pint. It's a good pint straight at the tap. It's really nice. So this one's okay. A gluten-free 5% IPA. So, have you guys been reading comics or that? I know Stu was saying he hasn't read anything, but have you guys been picking up anything?
I was briefly, like, after going to see Superman last week, I briefly picked up another Superman book, which is called Our World at War. But I'm no far enough into it really to thing yet. The creative team behind it, I think it's Jeff Loeb, right, was sort of creative force behind it. We're also written by Joe Casey and really, really good. But I'm only about a third of the way through it, so I can't really talk too much. And there's 2 books. I've got the second volume there as well.
Nice, man.
I was just so inspired by Superman last week that I wanted to read some
We're
proper old school Superman, not the modern stuff.
I look forward to talking about Superman. We're going to be talking about the Superman movie. We all got to see it this week, so
yeah,
we'll be reviewing that in a little while. But yeah, how about you, John? If you read anything this week? Ooh,
nice. Jay and Silent Bob.
Awesome.
Been looking forward to it for a while. As soon as it was announced,
thoroughly
enjoyed it.
Do Jay and Jughead get wasted together? It'd be a missed opportunity if not.
No. But basically, Archie gets a job at the Quick Stop. It's set after Clerks 3, so Danny's not around. Archie gets a job at the Quick Stop and meets Jay and Silent Bob. And it's not as PG as you would think. It's as sweary as a Kevin Smith comic is going to be, and as filthy. With Archie, it's funny because the Kevin Smith characters are all sweary, and the Archies are still all gosh darn it and stuff, and it's quite a funny mix. But if you're an Archie fan and a Kevin Smith fan, fantastic. I do love a bit of Archie. And in the back of the comic, they opened this up to retailer incentives. There is currently 57 retailer incentive covers for this comic.
50?
57.
I mean, why not 57?
There's just some in the back cover there just now. There's loads of them. It was a weird thing. Yeah, Archie opened up the cover to retailers, but they brought it down to the minimum that you had to buy and the cost. And if you wanted, you could spend like an extra $700 to get an Archie artist to draw it for you, or just get one of your friends to draw it. And so 57 incentivized covers. It's pretty cool. No way in hell will anyone manage to track down all 57 because some of them are super rare. But you know what? I'm happy enough just to have my regular copy.
Do you think since they have this incentivized 57 different covers, do you think that would annoy a lot of retailers?
Some were for shops only because they are retailer incentives. Basically, the shop has bought 300 covers that they've designed. They've got an artist to come in and do them for them, so they are only available at their shops or online, and they charge a premium for them as well. I know one guy who I was in the Discount Projects art group. He's got 3 Archie covers. He's in Canada, so he's got 3 different covers out of the 57 for different shops. So so basically the ones you can only get them at those shops.
Speaking as a former retailer, I've got to say only big shops would be able to do that. I would imagine that you have to buy X number of 100 copies to qualify for the retailer.
I believe, don't quote me, I believe it was 300 copies per store. But if you're talking in America, where Archie is obviously bigger than it is here, potentially doable, you know. depending on how much it costs to buy an issue in, depending on how much you sell it for to be an incentive. Say it costs $4 a comic, and because it's limited to 300, you sell it for $25. Profit.
I suppose if they're charging you the £700, but apart from that, if the comic cost is just the same, then yes, it's going to be worthwhile. Archie's no big in Britain. Comics.
They would struggle to do it across here. Yeah,
I'd be very surprised if any comic sells that many. Most comic shops.
They would struggle to sell that across. I know. I spoke to a lot of Shop of Heroes about it when I bought my copy during the week there. And they did their own cover for Doctor Who back in the day, and they've had a Walking Dead cover as well. And I've got
the Walking Dead cover. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I've got the Walking Dead. I've got the Doctor Who, but yeah, they had to buy X amount of copies to get those in, and that's like Doctor Who when it was popular. It was Matt Smith at the time, and Walking Dead still semi-popular at that time. But yeah, you would struggle to do an Archie across here, definitely. Yeah.
Has he still got boxes of them?
I don't know how many he's got, but I certainly imagine he'd have a few left over. Because they weren't selling them for that much. I think they're only selling them for a $5. So I don't think they're making that much.
I'm surprised particularly with Archie and the Jay and Silent Bob thing, that they're still asking for that big numbers. I would have thought Kevin Smith, as a comic fan and comic creator and a comic shop owner, is that right? He's got his own place as well.
I have done artwork for said shop. Yes.
Yeah, I'm surprised that he's talking such big numbers. You would think that he would champion.
It has to do with a print run, mate. If when you're printing things, the less numbers of comics that you do in a print run, because they can only do that print when they're doing the print run, and then the whole print has to come offline to do another one. So when they do a print run like that, unless it's hundreds of copies, each copy is going to cost you hundreds of pounds. That's why, when you get Follow Society books and things like that, it's very low numbers, but they're high priced because they can't mass produce them. So it's not Kevin Smith. It's basically just the publishing costs.
I just thought I would have thought he had a wee bit of sway in that realm and would have tried something. But
no, but I think they brought it down to I think 300 was maybe a small amount compared to what you usually would have to get. For a print run, for your own limited. I mean, I don't know the ins and outs of it. I know
57 is a massive number. I think the highest I've seen before. I think when Star Wars one came back out, when
Star Wars one,
I think that had like 100 covers or something like that. And then the new 52, a couple of the issues did 52. But apart from that, I think I've never seen 57 apart from that Star Wars.
Yeah.
Thundercats did a load when it came out.
When was that? Is that since I've been closed?
Last year.
Yeah.
Thundercats did a lot, and I think recently these new Transformers in G.I. Joe Energon universe, they're going to 12th print, issue 1, 12th print with a different cover on every single variant printing. So there's hundreds of different covers out there for those G.I. Joe and Transformers comics. If you're a collector, you're screwed basically.
Yeah. I know variant comics was not what killed the industry, but what did a lot of damage to comics in the sort of 1970s. Was chasing variants and retailer exclusives and things like that. Retailers were having to buy hundreds of copies of a book to get, because the way it works, you've got to buy 25 regular copy to get a 1 in 25 variant, or a 1 in 50, or 1 in 100. So as a retailer, you're chasing that variant, which you can sell for great money. But then, you're just getting left with all the normal covers if they're not one that takes off.
Real.
But I was also inspired to read some Superman, so I read All-Star Superman by Grant Morrison and Frank Quitely. Yeah,
classic.
I keep thinking it as a new comic, but it's years old now. Yeah, it's decades old. So but it's
20 plus now.
But to me, it's still. I mean, it's a Superman comic, it's weird, but that's a good run as well,
I picked up. I didn't pick this up. I had the box of all my comics. I've obviously been moving. I've been unboxing them and all my comics because I've lived in a family home. I still live in a family home, but lived in a house where I had to share with people that didn't necessarily care for comics. Whereas now I live in a house where I can do whatever the fuck I want. So I've got I've got comics everywhere, and it's great. And I went through a massive unboxing. So and was like, oh, I haven't read that, or so I picked up this from my pile that my new reading pile, the Warhammer 40,000 Sisters of Battle series that came out a couple of years ago. I've only got issue 1, I think, but I really fucking enjoyed it, and I was quite annoyed that I only have issue 1, so I'm gonna have to go and chase the other copies of it. What I remember most about this comic though is I took it into Thought Bubble with us a couple of years ago to get it signed because the writer is one of Andrew's favourite North European ladies. And,
Torrin Grumbeck, is it?
Yeah. Torrin is the writer on this, and I had this at our table at Thought Bubble the last time we did it. Well, the last time I came into Thought Bubble, I had it to get signed, and totally fucking forgot, and there was raging. I specifically bought it because obviously we tabled next to Torrin at Acme a couple of years back, and I was like, and then I found out that she'd written some Warhammer stuff, and I'm a massive Warhammer nerd. So I found this in the Little Shop of Heroes. I managed to buy it off them, and it's tremendous. And like, I don't know if it's because we know Torrin and we've worked with her and we've chatted to her, and some of the members of the podcast have fallen in love with her, but the writing on it's great. So they are, it's one of the stories that you see quite a lot in most of the Warhammer media actually. But the Sister Battle are pretty cool because they're a bit like basically nuns that fight aliens, basically. But yeah, Torrin Grombeck wrote it. Edgar Salazar is the artist. I really enjoyed it. There's a bit of standard Warhammer fare. I just think the Sisters of Battle are really interesting protagonists because they're they're warrior women, but I think if memory serves in the Warhammer universe, their existence is secret. So they kind of like they go in and do jobs and then they leave before anyone really notices they're there. And it's just cool. I just enjoyed it, and I really enjoyed the writing. Like a lot of like most Warhammer writing, it's that like laced with religious iconography, but then
it's very dense. Like I don't know the comics. I only know it from the Black Library. Couple of books, Dan Abnett, I think.
Oh, of course.
Did a couple of the books, and then you read a couple of books and you think, oh, this is really good. It's really deep. I'm going to try and read some more of these, and then what will I read next? Then you look at the backlog and there's like 500 books or something like that. It's like trying to read the Star Wars Legacy universe stuff. Yeah. At one point you could keep up with that, but then after a while they were getting 4 paperbacks a month or something like that were coming out.
That's that is what obviously Dan Abnett wrote. He's at Horus Rising. He wrote, which was the first.
Yeah, the Horus Heresy, and
which is fucking dense. It's like 100 books or something. But there's stuff that what I think is quite good, and I think Sisters of Battle is a really good example. Is there is corners of the Warhammer universe you can just nip into, and there's a series I really like about an Imperial Guard commissar called Caiaphas Kane. I think Sandy Mitchell writes them all, and it's just a guy who it's a bit like Blackadder in space. It's like a guy who's like way in over his head, has repeatedly tried to like evade the danger, and as a result found himself in situations that he kind of blunders his way through, but then by blundering his way through a situation he saves the day again, and it increases his aura, so he keeps getting put in more challenging situations and all he wants to do is like get as far away from conflict as he can, because he just the Warhammer 40 universe is terrifying,
Yeah.
So,
I read a series of books that was like that years ago, and it wasn't Blackadder, but they were based around the character of Flashman, who was a character from Tom Brown's School Days. He was the bully in Tom Brown's School Days, this guy Flashman, and then years later another guy did a series of books about Flashman's adventures in the sort of Georgian age. And they were hilarious, and they were always like that. He saw himself as the hero. He was like Jack, what's his face from Big Trouble in Little China, 30 years before that came out. sees himself as the hero, but doesn't realise that he's not the hero. He's just a bit part character who's in the right place at the right time.
Yeah, I love that, man.
Yeah.
So that's cool. So yeah, check it out. As the Warhammer universe is totally dense. I've read loads of stuff, but I quite like that one. Also, been we were talking about the little shoppy heroes earlier. I was that guy that I have a subscription to 2000 AD, but it's weekly, and I'm that guy that keeps forgetting. So I went in last week and picked up my pile, and it was 50 quid. I owed the little shop heroes, which is fine, but that's a lot of 2000 AD for anyone that knows how much 2000 AD is retail for. So I wasn't very popular. But really,
pick up your books, man.
Yeah, you got to pick up your fucking books, man. But yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I'm about 3 issues into this mad pile I've got, and I'm on a Judge Dredd story that I'm really enjoying about a gang that have got like what are they called, like micro. They've got like micro things in their blood that explodes when they become stressed.
Okay.
So obviously the judges are having to try and like collect
Stay
these
calm.
guys. Yeah, they're having to collect these guys before they blow up in like populated areas. But then obviously the judges are notoriously unchill, so it's pretty cool. But interestingly, and obviously what 2000 AD are really good at are telling you who writes stories and who does the art on every issue. I think the current Judge Dredd artist, as standard, is Dan Cornwell. Another friend of the podcast. We interviewed him 3 years ago. He came and joined us. Former 77 artist. Is now, I think he's just the Judge Dredd guy now, which is amazing to see.
Right.
So I remember when he was on the show 3 years ago, was like quite excited that he was going to be doing bits and pieces with 2000 AD. But now, like when I'll pick up a 2000 AD and then I'll pick another one up for 6 months, and he's still got work in that. 6 months later, he's still doing at least one story in there. So that's amazing. Like it's good to see, so like I say, somebody that we chatted to quite early on in their career is now like a stalwart of the British scene. It's great to see. So yeah, that was cool. If anybody, we get asked quite a lot about. I want to get into comics. Where do I start? I think 2000 is pretty good. It's a good start. It changes the stories up every couple of months. It has jump on points fairly consistently, and there's a bit of everything in there. So you can jump in, you can discover writers, you can discover artists quite easily, and then you just go and find out what else they did. So,
yeah, I always say it's find a writer you like, and you'll always read good comics. And for people when you say people who are trying to get into comics, you're talking about just fans of or reading, not creators or something like that.
Well, a bit of both. We get asked. Sorry, go on, man.
I was going to say for creators as well. 2000 AD is a great thing for creators because there's no better comic to teach you that telling sequential stories now, like in small parts. It's like the old, like the old RCA serials. You can tell story and you can tell a movie in 15-minute increments, and this is like you can tell a larger story in 4-page increments. It teaches you about hitting beats every issue to keep the story moving along.
I want to think it was Al Ewing that spoke about that when we interviewed him at Acme last year. He said the same. That's it's like an art form in itself. Is that breaking down stories into smaller chunks and because the thing about 2000 AD as just the example, because it's the book we're talking about. It comes out every week, and I remember being quite young and picking up a book and it being like part 3 or part 4 of like a 8-part serial. But there's enough in the first page or two to kind of get you up to speed without tarnishing or without slowing the speed of the story down. It catches you up so that you're like, rather than being lost and a bit unnerved by it all, you're like, if anything, you're just inspired to go and find earlier issues because you want to see what they're describing happened. I mean, yeah, it's good. It's a skill. So it's one of the things I love about Thought Bubble, like what you were saying there. We get a lot of people chatting to us at conventions about how to get into comics, and we get a lot of it's happened less recently since we've not been on air, but every so often we'll get a message in the group chat on or a message to our Facebook page asking for recommendations because somebody said like, oh, you should ask the Brewgooder guys. So that happened. I think the last time that happened was like last year, and that was pretty cool. Like with somebody going, oh, I've been directed to you guys to ask for like book recommendations, which is pretty cool. I know it's going but yeah, it's cool. One of the cool things about Thought as well, Thought will do the 2000 AD. Is it the Third Thrillers competition every year, or whatever it's called? So
you can try and put your story in, and try and get yourself published in 2080. Yeah.
So every so often, like it happened.
Which you would think they would do at Lawless, Ken, when you think about it.
Yeah. I just think Lawless is fairly new, whereas Thought Bubble's been going on for years, isn't it? But yeah, it's pretty cool. Like when people come up to it, like there was a couple of guys last time I had a table at Thought Bubble who were showing me, they were like, oh, I've just shown my stuff to 2000 AD and they're not going to take me on. And then they've opened their stuff and I'm like, this is fucking good. There needs to be somebody that just goes around Thought Bubble and collects all the the unsuccessful pitches to the 2000 AD.
That's a big call. We'll get them into the 77.
We'll get them into 77, yeah, totally.
Yeah, I mean, see, unfortunate thing is we live in an era where there's so much consumable material out there. You can't possibly read everything. It doesn't matter how good your stuff is. But we also live in an era where it's possible to self-publish, as a sort of online sign and to get yourself up. And if you're good enough and you're confident enough, and you're a good enough salesman. I mean, sometimes it's like it doesn't matter how good your stuff is if you can't sell yourself.
Yeah,
you probably aren't going to make it. You need to be, constantly pushing your work at people.
I've come to
there
learn
are many mediocre people in comics who were just there because because they were good at selling themselves and things like that. So
yeah, and then you've got the me's of the world who've got books, and you're mediocre at selling them.
You have to be, you have to be better at. Some people are good at creating, and some people are good at selling, and some people are good at creating and selling, and those are the ones that name. So,
and then David left the podcast. David left the podcast, didn't he? David Crana is like the best comic salesman I know. Like he's just fucking got it down to. He's got the whole thing down to an art form, and it's totally brutal selling comics.
It's belief. It's belief in your thing, and it's like it's if you believe in it and it's good enough. I'm going to talk about another friend of the podcast, Mr. Lumsden. There's total belief in what you're creating. Just believe, push, and you'll get there one day.
Yeah, totally.
You're gonna make it someday.
I think my issue with comics, and actually I don't have an example of stuff. Oh my goodness, I must have missed a box somewhere.
David Crana's?
No, I've got Crana's right here. Look, I've got a shelf here that's just you guys. So
Friends and family.
I've got Crana. I've got the anthology. I tell you, what I don't have is the book that John did the cover for because I'm going to put it up. So it's sitting somewhere so I can put it on the wall. But that was a segue for John to plug.
Plug his book. Plug a book.
It's not my book, but it's Chrissy Weisman's Legends of Memorania, issue 1.
Oh, there I see you.
There you go. The convention exclusive cover. Yes.
Yeah.
The only place to get those in the UK is from me.
From you?
From me, I'm the only UK authorized seller of said comic.
That's good.
So yeah.
I know I had it there. What else have I got on this shelf? This is basically the Brewgooder shelf. I've got Matthew Cooper's Worm. What else is in here? I'm proud of this shelf. I don't have any Stephen Ingram. That's what I was going to say. Stephen Ingram.
I've got some Stephen Ingram books I can let you have. I picked up a lot of stuff when I had the shop, and I've still got multiple copies. So I've got some Stephen Ingram. I've got some Paul Sorensen. I've got a stack of Jeff Nicholson. And David, I've got loads of David Crana. I think I've got about 3 copies of each of his books.
I've got Crana here.
Yep. I've got those, I've got Crana's, I've got Jim Alexander stuff as well.
I got Simon Burke stuff. It's all good. I love it. I love my comic shop. don't have any Stephen Ingram, and I think I just had a couple of unpopular breakups with ex-girlfriends and never got the books back. Is what happened there.
I had this conversation today because I got a new book delivered today, which is in marvelous condition for a book which is nearly more than 40 years old. The first press, first edition, The Talisman by Stephen King and Peter Straub. Look at that, 1984. It's like it's never been read. It's like it's never been read. I had to get it delivered from America, so it cost me an arm and a leg. But and a friend of mine was like, "Oh, you have to lend me that." I learned many years ago. I'll lend books out as long as I'm, resigned to the fact that I'm never going to see it again. But nothing from these shelves.
That's what I need to do, man. That's what I need to do. Hey, I'm noticing time's getting away from us. We're 5 minutes into assorted geekery time now. We've done plebby banter. We've done a beer. We've done comics. What have folk been doing on the assorted geek front? What are we all in?
Well, it's been a while since we were together, so I'll tell you. I mean, if anything that's happened, I think I didn't kind of maybe no affect or no be interested you so much, Jeff and Stuart. A couple of weeks ago, a giant of comics passed away, Jim Shooter, and I don't know if it's been thingied.
Yeah.
He basically was, apart from Stan Lee, probably the most important person Marvel has ever had. He was the editor-in-chief. He was the guy who assigned people books. He was the guy who was like listen to ideas and thinking that if you wouldn't have Valiant Comics, you wouldn't have you probably, I think Rob Liefeld, he gave him his first sort of start at Marvel, and without him you wouldn't have Deadpool. I think he was responsible for them bringing in the Wildstorm, that was in DC. But yeah, he passed away a couple of years ago, and I thought I would mention it while I was here because to do the Tinseltown Stiffs section.
Well, another great that passed was Peter David.
Oh yeah.
Peter David passed. Yeah, another big great comic book writer and author. If anyone's ever read any Star Trek: The Next Generation novelization tie-ins, he did some of the best ones out there. Q and Law. There's a fantastic Riker and Troy novel called Zaddy that he wrote, but he also did a long run on the Incredible Hulk with Gary Frank, Todd McFarlane as well.
He did like the Grey Hulk. Was it Joe Fixit and stuff like that? He was sort of in that era.
Future Imperfect. Yep, very funny writer.
Future Imperfect, was that when they introduced the Maestro? Was that him as well?
The Maestro. Yep, I believe that was Peter David as well. Yeah, so a big loss. Very fine writer indeed. So it's a pity when a few of the greats go. Yeah, but yeah, Jim Shooter. Secret Wars.
They're all thinking. Jim Shooter. Like I say, when I was growing up, certainly through the 70s and 80s, he was, Stan Lee was the name at Marvel, but I think most people will think that the man sort of in charge of sorting out new books and thing in it and coming up with storylines was Jim Shooter.
Can I throw it as well? That one of my favourite actors passed away last week as well. Who has his foot quite squarely in geekdom is Julian McMahon passed away last week as well.
Yeah. He was in Fantastic Four, wasn't he?
He was Doctor Doom in Fantastic Four. He was Dr. Troy for years in Nip Tuck, which is like one of my favourite shows ever. Obviously a stalwart of Neighbours back in the day, or Home and Away back in the day. John
Home and Away.
Married
to Danny Minogue.
Was he?
Yeah.
He was married to Danny Minogue, yeah.
Nice.
Lucky chap.
Well done, you lucky man.
Didn't I?
Like Kylie, but curvier. Can't see things like that anymore.
He was also one of the main antagonists in Charmed for years as well, wasn't he?
Yes.
Yeah, good. No, I really liked him. I just thought as a guy he was really likable. I don't know enough about him to know if he seems to have come from that generation where these guys maybe have like clouds over their legacy because of behaviours on set and that, but I'm not sure. But from what I can tell, he
I
was.
never heard anything. People seem to be genuinely disappointed.
Yeah, I was sad to hear he passed away. I thought he was I enjoyed him and everything he was in. He was my favorite. I think he was probably the best thing in the Fantastic Four movies.
That Michael Chiklis one.
Yeah,
John Griffith and Jessica Alba.
Yeah, well,
those movies.
Me and John had a lengthy conversation last week about. When,
do you know? I say that. Sorry, just before you move past, who was great in Fantastic Four. The second one, and I only found this out recently, but the person who was used as the basis for the Silver Surfer in the second one was Andre Braugher from Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Was it?
No.
You were thinking in your head.
No, was it not? No, was it
Andre Braugher was a general. It was Doug Jones.
Yeah, Doug Jones was
the Silver Surfer.
I've read that it was Andre Braugher that was used.
Andre Braugher is in the film as a general, and gets one of the worst lines ever in movie history spoken to him by Reed Richards, who's the antagonist. They're going at each other the whole film, because he once worked for the general and it didn't work out. And he's like, yeah, you were the quarterback in school and I was a nerd, but look who's married to the hot girl. And I'm like, fuck's sake, that's terrible. Or, I'm paraphrasing. But, Andre Braugher, he was a general. Doug Jones was the Silver Surfer, and Lawrence Fishburne did the voice of the Silver Surfer.
Yeah. Right, okay. I got confused. Yeah. I'd read an article which misled me there.
Could you imagine Andre Braugher as the Silver Surfer? That'd be amazing.
He's amazing. He's amazing in every. See, some people are amazing in absolutely everything they're ever in. Andre Braugher is that guy.
Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Come on, just
The Wire.
I find that first. Me and John had quite a long conversation about when the protagonists in a film. I don't know if we mentioned the Fantastic Four, but it's a really good example. I get really annoyed in a movie or any kind of media where the hero, in inverted commas, are the people that cause the crisis. So they're actually, instead of like fighting an outward threat, they're resolving something. They're resolving an issue they've caused. And
Fantastic Four, yeah.
Fantastic Four is a really good example of that. With in the first movie when they help all those people on the bridge, it starts because the Thing walks in front of a fire engine, isn't it?
Yep, the Thing steps on the bridge, causes an accident. They help resolve the accident and are viewed as heroes. Really? He caused the accident? Okay.
Yeah, that annoys me quite a lot. Yeah, you did some heroic things, but heroic things that were caused because you guys were dicks.
Exactly.
But yeah, some losses and that. There's countless more people that passed away. But
and Andre Braugher himself, I don't know when was the last time we were together. I think that was last year, but I watched a show recently called The Residence on Netflix, which was it's a murder mystery set in the White House, and Giancarlo Esposito is brilliant in it. And it was only just after it came out that I've heard that they had they started filming it with Andre Braugher in that part, and he passed away.
Really?
Yeah, he passed away. Well, after the table read, and once they'd started sort of shooting scenes, and they had to reshoot them. And Giancarlo Esposito, I only found it out because right at the end of the last episode, it was like, with respect to Andre Braugher, but he should have been in
that. That's a good show. Yeah.
His Captain Holt, like on YouTube, I would watch lots of. Is when he's like getting yeah, or he's annoyed at that was it the other captain that he fucking hates.
Madeline
Winch. Yeah, Madeline
Winch. Time's over.
Once time's over.
I'll like the funniest. That's got so many funny moments in that show, but I have never laughed so much as just Andre Braugher standing in his doorway shouting, "Bone!" when Rosa says that they just need the bone. It was just
so good because his character in Brooklyn Nine-Nine is just like really stoic, and like he's like everybody would aspire to be him. And or be like him, and he's just got this horrible petty hatred of like this woman. It's so good.
I'm sorry, I thought you were a small leather armchair.
But I didn't know she came in. He's like, I didn't know she come in. But if you're here, who's guarding Hades?
Who's guarding?
It's so good.
She's a cheat. I know. Korean toilet ghost. We already know. Yeah, Andre Brower, what a guy.
Roger, amazing.
Stuart,
Stu,
you-
what's
Yes,
your,
Stu.
yeah,
Yeah,
what's
Stu.
your,
Any geekery?
any geekery, man?
We binge watched the rest of Cobra Kai. Pretty decent. I'm now ready for Karate Kid Legends, although I'm convinced it's got absolute bugger all, like almost like different universes, I'd imagine.
No, I went to see it.
Hey,
I went to see it.
I know it's not
Enjoy it.
but no
Enjoy it.
spoilers.
Can I just say one thing? And
Nah.
it's like one thing about the movie. Joshua Jackson's in it, right? You know the actor Joshua. And he plays a key part in the film. And actually, I went to see it I went to see England Office. So Kino till I die, man. Saw it in the really. It was just me and Sonny in Screen 3, which is it's a small screen at the Kino. Thoroughly enjoyed it. We both thoroughly enjoyed the Karate Kid Legends. Joshua Jackson's in it, and I think they missed a trick by not having him play Charlie Conway in the Mighty Ducks.
From Mighty Ducks,
he plays like a new character who goes through like quite a cool little story arc in himself in the movie, and I'm like, if they just worked out how to make him Charlie, that would have been really cool. And it would have tied together. I think they missed a trick, and I imagine it's probably a reason why they hired him to be in this movie, because he plays like a very, in his childhood he played a very similar character to Daniel. I think they could have. They missed a trick, or they maybe weren't able to perform a trick where they had this guy play one of the other protagonists of a very loved childhood movie franchise.
Tied them into the same universe, that would have really tied them in.
But no, Karate Kid Legends is good. What did you think of the penultimate episode of Cobra Kai, Stu? There's a bit right at the end. There's a bit right at the end when you just go, okay.
I am trying to think of that moment. Yeah, it just feels like it was sort of like the snake eating its own tail in the end. Like it was kind of back to where it's.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have we all seen the last? Can we spoil it then? Because it's been out for ages.
The only thing that didn't work for me was they should have just let Martin Cove be a bad guy. Like, not every character needs to be redeemed at the end. And, he's just like, after 50 years, just leave him the bad guy. It was nice that he took care of Terry Silver for them, but nah. I would have preferred a different resolution to that one part. Apart from all good.
I like his cuddle. I thought the scene with Johnny with the cuddle was amazing. Like I thought that was great. And when he allows them to bring back Cobra Kai, I thought that was really smart. I enjoyed that. Also, thought it was really funny that like there was just that whole like you and me talked about it, Andrew, in the past, where like you're trying to work out the point system of the show. And you're like, it's a draw though. It's a draw. It'll be a draw. And then they're like, the only way to resolve it is to have the this is like, of course.
It was always going to end with Johnny fighting somebody. It was always going to happen. I think so.
But I like that they did that. I think one of my criticisms, we talked about this when it happened. One of my criticisms of, I think maybe season 4 was it was like Johnny's story had been told and he'd taken a back seat. And there's a really amazing bit where he's fighting two ninjas basically, and then Barnes comes in and is like, "There, man, I did it." And Johnny's kind of like, "Yeah, but I did all the work." I was like, that's kind of like an in joke about like the show in general. Like, all these other people are now jumping on and getting a really good like sign off, but it's all thanks to Johnny.
Well, I think part of that goes back to the thing as well. Because I think if he had come back, he would have been the protagonist almost in Karate Kid. I think. What was the other guy's name?
Barnes.
Barnes.
Yeah.
Aye, I think he was only there as a sort of replacement for Johnny in Karate Kid 3, even though he was sort of tougher and stuff like this. So I did all the hard work. He did all the hard work in the first one, and then everybody, all those guys fairly on got redeemed. The only thing they missed off was not having what's her face. The next Karate Kid.
Swank.
Yeah, she should have been back. If they brought Swank back.
They asked her and she said no.
Under no circumstances am I getting involved in that shit again.
You could like.
They asked her, and she said no. Yeah.
No.
There we go. I do.
Anything else? Sorry, anything else to?
I watched Blue Steel for the first time. That was fun. 1990s cop thriller with Jamie Lee Curtis and Clancy Brown.
Oh yeah, I was going to say yeah, Blue Steel. Yeah, that's a deep cut
Fancy.
right there.
Random
I can see the
shite
poster.
on-
Yeah, I can see the poster. That's it.
Mhm.
Jamie Lee Curtis, gun, police hat. Yep, blue.
Yep.
Steve,
It was just random film on Film 4, and I was like, I've not seen this. And I was like, it's from the 90s. Can't be bad. So I recorded it.
Cool.
Yeah, good fun.
Good movie.
I can honestly say I've never heard of it. Sorry, guys.
It's
I'll
one
put
of
it on
these
the
ones
list.
that you see on the. Since it was in the video shop, I can see the cover perfectly on sitting on the shelf. I'm
Nice.
pretty sure it has some comics with the poster on the back. To be honest, I think. But yeah, I've seen the trailer up 10 times, just never seen the film.
Mhm.
Nice. Trying to get anything else I've seen that's. I don't know if anyone's had this, but when you watch stuff on like iPlayer, it suggests other things, and you end up like deep diving.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. iPlayer's quite good at that for like comedy. So I finished watching two series of a show, and I thought, is it called The Other Ones? I need to work out what this is called. But 2 seasons, I would recommend it. Yeah, The Other One. I recommend that. It's got one of the girls from. I'm trying to think who's in it. Did anyone watch Steph Likes Flats?
No,
I
Everyone
know
should
of
watch
it,
that.
but I haven't seen it.
Yeah, everyone watch it. It's just it's basically like a lot of folk from other comedy shows, and when they come together, like, oh yeah, I know them. But it's just 2 sisters who find out like their dad had an affair with 2 different women, and so they're half sisters, and they only find out about this at the funeral, and it's just a pretty cool wee show. Check it out. 2 seasons. Did it in a couple afternoons on when I was moving, and then it put me on to loads of other stuff. iPlayer's great for just these comedy series that maybe only did like 12 episodes, like Amanda Land and stuff like that, and it's good fun.
Look at it. It was
Yeah.
Lauren Socha, who was Misfits. She was in Misfits.
Yeah, I forget. Is that
And her brother is one of the guys from This Is England.
Yeah, that's right. That's maybe why it didn't. That's maybe why they didn't come back for a 3rd season then, because I noticed the time frame. Did she not getting bothered recently, or like in the last wee while for being horrible in a? Yeah, I think she's a wrong'un, or she was a wrong'un.
Is she?
Yeah, I think she had an alcohol induced rant at a taxi driver who happened to not be from the UK, and that was and got charged for it. If that's who I think it is.
Possibly. Like I said, I think our brother Michael was Harvey, and This Is England. He was in the movie, but then became a bigger character from the TV shows.
Yeah,
and I remember her from Misfits, back before Joseph Gilgan came in and took over for Robert Sheehan as the main guy.
Which is mad.
I finished season 1 of Ballard, the follow-up to the Bosch TV series. If you've ever seen Bosch on Prime TV, based on my favorite author, Michael Conley, his series of books, revolving into sort of multiple different characters or weaving in each other's books. Harry Bosch, Renee Ballard, and obviously the Lincoln Lawyer, which is a separate show. But if you've seen your 7 seasons of Bosch and 3 seasons of Bosch Legacy, you'll like Ballard. Season 1.
I just finished Bosch just during the week there, and I thought about going into Bosch Legacy, but I'd watched 2 seasons back to back, so I've decided to step away from it for a bit. It does look like Legacy is more of the same, but he's obviously a private detective now rather than a policeman, but very
more
similar.
of the same. 3 seasons, fantastic stuff. Titus Welliver being awesome. You get more Money Chandler, more of his daughter as well.
Less Jerry Edgar, though, and things like that.
Less J. Edgar, and you get a few recurring characters, but for the most part, it is basically just it's mainly Bosch, but not a bad thing.
Cool.
I've never seen Bosch. I watched a two-parter, a really good two-parter of Star Trek Voyager last year, and the guy and there was one of the guys in it that was like, I recognise him from somewhere, and it was probably from adverts for Bosch. I don't know him from anything else, but it's him.
As well,
He's in
Do
a.
you know, I was watching like season 6 of Bosch, John, and that's the season when the pharmacist gets killed.
Yes.
One of the guys, it's sort of one of the big guys who's the two guys who were involved in that. And I was like, I've seen him, I know his face, I couldn't think where from. And then it was today, I was sitting watching, I've started working through. I'll tell you this, right, because somebody said something really controversial online. Going on a tangent here, right? But somebody on Facebook did this post about what are shows where the British show came first and the American show is so much better. And people came up with the obvious ones like The Office and stuff like that. But this guy said, definitely Ghosts. And I spit out my coffee. I was like, what the hell? Because the American Ghosts is nowhere near as good. But I was watching it today and I was like, that's the guy that plays Thor. You know, the Viking. In the American version of Ghosts,
I've only watched one episode of it. I've only watched one episode of American Ghosts. I couldn't get into it.
It's not great. I mean, it's just like it's sad. It's sad reflections. It's like sad reflections of the characters.
It's like,
Robin was such an amazing character that they had to create 2 characters in the American version just to be half as good as Robin.
Did you watch the Australian Office?
No.
One episode.
Yeah, I still haven't completed that yet. It's a bit weird.
Yeah. The Office is up there in my top, probably my top 3 or 4 comedy shows of all time. American comedy shows.
The spin-off's coming in September.
September 4th, yeah.
I know that they've got one character I've seen who's in it, who was in The Office, and it's set in the same building, but it's a different business which is in that building now.
Yes, it's but Domhnall Gleeson's the main character, so that should be quite good. He's always good to watch.
But the guy who
did you watch that film on Apple TV Plus that he was in with Jim from The Office, Natalie Portman?
No, I didn't. That's Indiana Jones,
the rip-off.
You know what? I couldn't even tell you what it's called. Guy Ritchie directed it, and it was rank. It was not very good at all.
Hearing bad things.
It was just poor.
He's kind of hit and miss now, isn't it? Like, it's like, I think Guy Ritchie, when he's tries to do something that isn't like a character-driven crime drama, it's kind of hit or miss. But when if you look back at like all your favorite Guy Ritchie stuff, it's all related to British crime.
Right, but this is a problem because they gave him King Arthur and then Robin Hood.
Mm-hmm.
And he tried to do it like basically as King Arthur as Snatch or Robin Hood in particular. King Arthur, in fact, it was like they were like a gang, weren't they? Jax Taylor from Sons of Anarchy was the kind of Arthur, but he was the leader of a gang of pickpockets or something like that. It's just like it's a retelling. It's a new slat. Fucking dog shit is what it was. And then
I talked about like one of my favorite shows last year was The Gentleman, which was based on a movie by Guy Ritchie, and I think he writes the TV show.
Movie's great. I did try and watch the TV show. I watched 2 or 3 episodes, and again, even Kaya Scudellaro wasn't enough to keep me interested. But the movie's great. The movie's
I like the TV show.
The movie's brilliant.
The movie is good fun.
Hugh Grant is such a sleazy, horrible character in the Gentleman movie. He's absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
Hugh Grant in Dungeons and Dragons is outstanding. Outstanding.
Hugh Grant's created a second career of being the grumpy old men. Grumpy, horrible old guys.
If you go on YouTube and watch some of the press stuff for Dungeons and Dragons, he's hilarious.
Yeah,
just comes up with just the wrong stuff all the time. It's amazing.
Well, they're saying that like I've seen him being interviewed about it, and he's like, because I've seen him do press stuff for Wonka, and he's like, yeah, like I've just hit that, like obviously in the 90s I was like the cute British heartthrob. I was in the cute British heartthrob part of my career. I'm now in the Oompa Loompa antagonist of fantasy role-play games part of my career. it's like fair enough. At least you know.
But he's recently in like a horror movie where he abducts
Heretic,
two women or something like that, isn't he? Yeah.
Yeah, some Amazon. I need to watch that as well.
Yeah, it was quite good. But,
you got to
talk about the Dungeons and Dragons movie. I've got a wee. I live in Logelly now, in Fife, and we've got a wee. Like the Logelly Centre's got its own wee cinema screen and stuff like that, and they're showing Dungeons and Dragons next month as part of a So we should. It's like pay what you want to get in. Like there's not it's fucking phenomenal film. If you've not seen the Dungeons and Dragons movie, like come and see it in Logelly next month. I might try and set something up for it. It's part of an event called Loch Con, like a Dungeons and Dragons fantasy roleplay tabletop-y convention, but in Logelly. So yeah,
let's do it.
Yeah,
sounds good if you're that kind of thing.
Yeah, so like walking through Logelly is like being in the Middle Ages now. It's great. It's the land that time forgot. Where were we? Well, we talk about Superman because
Yes,
we really should, but we're getting a bit late, so
time's getting away. Yeah.
Right. Just what do people think?
Glorious.
Did you watch it, Stu? Yeah.
Yes, I went on Monday afternoon.
You did that. Cool.
Mm-hmm. I think it was the most comic-y superhero comic-y movie I've ever seen. I loved it.
Yeah, no, really good. Really enjoyed it. Came out, big grin on my face. Could happily go back and watch it again.
The moments that made it, I think, more like a superhero comic, like when people who were kind of ready to rubbish it because it wasn't going to be Zack Snyder or something like that. But anybody who's actually read a comic over the last 20 or 30 years, something happening all the time. We talked earlier on about pacing and beats and stuff like this, and you've got, this is happening, this is happening, this is happening. There's one thing is a great scene where he's just sitting chatting to Lois Lane while the Justice Gang are in the background fighting, like it's not Starro, but it's something like that, and he's that's just a multi-dimensional jester. Don't worry about that. It's like it's not important. It's just such a great comic moment. And it had loads of them. There was a lot. They threw a lot at it. I think even somebody who doesn't know comics wouldn't have been confused by it. They would be able to follow what was happening, even if they're not available.
Yeah,
aware of every character.
It felt like to me. Obviously, you don't have to do the origin. We've done the Superman's origin to death. We've done it, and it's touched upon in the movie as well. You don't need to do it again. But what it felt like to me was. How as a kid, you would just pick up a comic, you pick up a random comic, and it doesn't have to be issue 1, it could be issue 2, it could be issue 3, and you would just read it. Now I've got to be like, no, I need to read them all. But as a kid, you'd be like, I'm picking this one because it's got a cool cover. And you would just start reading it, and it was maybe, say, part 3 or part 4 of a story. That's what this film felt like. It started off, obviously, it's 3 years into him being Superman, but that's what it felt like. It just felt like, you were just dropped into issue 3 of Action Comics or something, and you didn't need to have seen or read the first couple of issues. You were just kind of dropped in, and it was it was fine. It was great. It took a couple of seconds to go, all right, okay, we're just going straight into it, are we? But yeah, for the most part, that's what it felt like to me. It felt like it was just something that you just jumped into another story, and on you go. It was good.
Same. We talked about it very briefly last week, John. I'd read a couple of reviews that had given it a sort of middle-y score, saying it was like, oh, we missed, it feels like we're missing half a movie. It was one of the reviews I read, and another review was just like, oh, it's a swing and a miss. It feels like they're throwing as much to the wall as they can and very little of it actually sticks. But I never felt like that at any point. Like, thoroughly enjoyed it. Well,
James Gunn came out and said, he says that the Superman origin story has now been done on TV and in movies in his lifetime like 6 times. Ken, you've seen it multiple times in movies. You've seen it in the Lois and Clark 2 TV shows, Superman the Animated Adventures, and Batman as well. He says he's never going to show that stringy pearls moment for Batman. Batman's established, Superman's established, and I think I like that he's established because he can just get on with telling great stories, and he cast it brilliantly. Even just aside for David Corenswet and Rachel Brosnan, Eddie Cathegi as Mr. Terrific was absolutely phenomenal.
Terrific. That's the one I was kind of like, because I'd seen the Arrowverse version of Mr. Terrific.
Yeah, and not good.
And it was like, whoofed. And then you see Eddie Cathegi come in, and it was like, okay, this guy just killed it. He absolutely did. He and Crypto stole that film. I'd happily watch a Crypto and Mr. Terrific movie.
Every scene he was in, I thought he was like, you could not take your eyes off him. It was so good. And it's like you say, after the Arrowverse version, this is the fourth most intelligent man in the world. I can't see it. He slayed it.
But yeah, no, it was a great film. I loved what they did with the Daily Planet crew. They actually involved them in the story and actually gave them something to do rather than just hang around in the background. I loved spoilers, I loved seeing them in the Mr. Terrific ship flying around, writing a story. I loved that Jimmy Olsen was a player.
He was great as well. Jimmy Olsen, is it Skyle or something? It's the kids from the movie with the talking dog, isn't it? With Earbud.
Earbud, yeah. He apparently did the voice of the dog as well.
Aye.
So he played the kid and he voiced the dog, yeah. In the same film.
I didn't know that.
Like, right, okay. Yeah. I saw an interview on YouTube last night and I thought, Jesus. But I love what the Daily Planet crew. I thought was just fantastic. I love the shout out to when I was reading the 90s comics, that was the crew, there was the Cat Grant and the Ron Troop.
I didn't know Cat Grant, right? And was just like, she was like my favorite human in that movie. She was just this hot woman that was in every scene.
She looked like she was already like part of the porn parody, but walked on the wrong set. Oh wait, this is the actual movie. Shit.
No, anytime somebody wanted my attention when she was on screen, I'm like, shh.
She was kind of like this covers the socialite. She covers all the parties. She's kind of like the glitzy glamour.
The showbiz.
Background, the gossip, the gossip correspondent. Yeah, she'd do the gossip.
Back in the comics, she was like a TV presenter and things like that. I think the first time I seen her was around about Death of Superman time, mid 90s. I don't know if she came through.
I think she came in just before that. But yeah, kind of like 87, 88. Yeah, kind of like Jerry Ordway, Marv Wolfman. In fact, I think Marv Wolfman, he created her. He's in the movie as well, actually. That's pretty cool.
No, I was going to say, I thought she'd come around for that sort of Justice, the Justice League era when it was Fire and Ice and that sort of thing.
Well, I mean, that was kind of like
that was Marvel era sort of time, wasn't it? So, yeah.
I never felt more like a dad. I remember, like, what she reminded me of, right? I don't know, Stu. This is coming for you thick and fast, right, man? So just be ready. And John, I'm sure that you've already been there, right? When you go to on a fucking Haven holiday with your kids, right? And there's the one Haven mate who's just a wee bit more attractive than the rest of them. So like you start like wanting to take your kids to like, oh, there's the Tiger Club's on tonight. Well, we go along and they're like, nah, the Tiger Club's fucking lame, and you're like, yeah, but Cary Grant's the one that's doing the comparing tonight,
And she was nice to you, wasn't she?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Wow.
The dad's Haven.
Yeah, well, okay, fair enough.
That's what it reminded me of. I don't know if that's 2 beers in. That's my just that one member of like the crew that you're like, you're just there for the dads. Come on now. Like there's no reason for you to dress like that. There's no you're considering, like you say, the Daily Planet guys are like integral to the plot. She's not. She's just dressed inappropriately But like, I'm not complaining.
Yeah.
It's just like there's.
Yeah, no, Michaela Hoover apparently played her, and I've never heard of her, but yeah, very, very,
She's
very.
got dark hair in real life. Yeah, she's wearing a wig for the
She
movie.
does. I'm looking at the pictures here, and she's mostly in dark hair. Sorry, I'm lost.
Well, it's funny because Cat Grant in real life is a brunette, and Miss Techmaker in real life is a brunette as well. So made them both.
Oh yeah, I thought it was great that they brought Eve Tessmacher back. That's the third time I think she's appeared in. She was, she was in Superman Returns, and she's obviously in the original one.
And they gave her something to do as well. That was good.
Yeah,
she had a bit. I thought that's the good thing. There was no characters in that movie that was wasted. Each of those characters was introduced, and they had a bit. Maybe apart from Cat Grant, and maybe like a couple of Ron Troop wasn't maybe featured as much, but yeah, I liked the fact that they were there. They were featured. It wasn't just Lois, Perry, and Jimmy from the planet. It was more rounded.
Yeah, that was good. It was good fun. Spoilers. I had Metamorpho.
Metamorpho.
Was really
Rex Mason.
Was really happy. Was really happy to see him. I'd read a couple of years ago a run of the Terrifics. There was a Terrifics comic series that came out, written by Dan Abnett, I think.
That was a blatant attempt to rip off the Fantastic Four when they did that. And they had Metamorpho and Plastic Man.
Marvel that time had cancelled. Marvel had arrested
that's right,
the Fantastic Four, because of the whole rights with Fox, So
and the one that's right. It was not around about that movie time, or the one they want to support the Michael B. Jordan movie sort of thing.
Yeah, I think the rights were starting to lapse or something, and Fantastic Four comic was rested for a bit, and then all of a sudden DC came up with the Terrifics. And every member of the cast was pretty much Fantastic Four.
Fantastic. It came out as so I read it as there was a really good whatever the annual DC event was that year. It was the metal. Which was really cool about all the multiversal variations of Batman. The one that found the Speed Force, the one that it's basically like if Bruce Wayne had acquired the powers of all the other Justice Leagues, what would have happened? What would happen if what would happen if Bruce had ingested Joker toxin and all that sort of stuff? And you had different variations of Batman. And then after the fallout of that was a bunch of new comics, and one of them was the Terrific. So I picked that up, enjoyed it. But yeah, you're right. It was the Fantastic Four. You had Plastic Man and fucking. But yeah, I thought Metamorpho was cool. I really was glad to see him in there.
Guy Gardner, Nathan Fillion, top notch.
Yeah,
just so good.
Again, they didn't give you much of the background on him, but that sort of Green Lantern character had been given his ring, and then had he ended up getting a brain injury, and after, he was always an asshole. He's got enough will to be a Green Lantern, but he's a complete asshole in the comics. No redeeming features at all. Nathan Fillion's the perfect person to think of.
I love that the bit where he's flipping tanks with he's just my understanding of the Green Lantern is he does really creative things with his ring, and Guy Gardner doesn't, isn't it? It's the whole thing is he's just
it's just sheer willpower. He's a powerful character, but
he's flipping tanks and giving them. Yeah.
And he's like, "Can you see? I put giant oven mitts on it."
Yeah. With the finished filming the Lanterns TV show, the finished filming that, and Nathan Fillion's in that, and he says he swears more in that Lanterns TV show than he has in his entire career on screen.
Can I just say, I've seen a couple of pictures from that, and I'm going to say it, and because I've been a massive fan of this guy for years. Kyle Chandler is absolutely perfectly cast as Hal Jordan. And I was a massive fan of him in Friday Night Lights. But looking at him, I just think, Hal, just slightly older. Green Lantern.
If I was ever to cast Green Lantern, and I've said this for years and years and years, if you were to do a fan cast, it would be Dennis Quaid.
As Hal Jordan?
As Hal Jordan.
Quaid's 70 or something like that, is he not?
No, but if it was a fan cast, if you could cast anyone as a character, who would you cast? I'd be like, well, Green Lantern would be Dennis Quaid. Robert Redford would be Captain America. You know, if you've got a fan cast,
1970s
I've always said
Robert Redford.
yeah, 70s Robert Redford, yeah, definitely, yeah, Captain America. Yeah, that's
But,
when I read the comics.
Burt Reynolds is Tony Stark.
I love
Or,
that. You see,
well,
there's
Timothy
loads of them,
Dalton.
like,
Timothy Dalton is Tony Stark.
That's who
I've seen
Ross
it.
uses the basis for
Yeah.
for that. Yeah, so yeah, there's a lot of fan cast there. But yeah, if I was ever to do a Green Lantern movie at any time, featuring an actor at any time in his career, but Dennis Quaid, yeah,
Okay.
I'd love to see that.
We should fan cast. I've seen the ones about the 90s. It was like if like they did Avengers in the 90s, and it was like Tom Cruise would be your Tony Stark and stuff like that. And
He was going to be Tony Stark.
Yeah.
He talked
What
for years
did
about
you
being Tony
guys
Stark.
think of the music? Like, I'm glad it didn't lean on a crutch of like, hey, it's a mixtape. We're going to drop several popular pop punk songs throughout. But they still kind of hinted with, you know, Lois Lane talking about her punk background.
I enjoyed that. It was very out of left field for me, but I enjoyed it, and I enjoyed James Gunn has he's good at picking needle drops. You know, things that oh shit, okay, I've never heard that before. What is that? That's awesome.
That song at the end, you can't get on Spotify. The Iggy Pop version is not on Spotify. I checked.
But the song that was done, they did a song by, you know, he talked about his favourite punk band.
He made up,
aye, and there's a song by them in the movie, and it's written by and sung by James Gunn.
James Gunn, yeah.
Is that right?
I always think that you can the tell of a good movie is right. We're going to have the best songs ever in it. We've got to have Camouflage. Sabotage. Beastie Boys have got to be in there.
Yeah, the Beastie Boys have got to be in there.
They've got to be in there.
But to answer your question, Stu, for me, the one song that stuck with me was the one just before the credits started. I went straight on Spotify, and the only version of it on Spotify is from the band, but they re-released it with Iggy Pop singing it, and that version is not on Spotify. And there's
the song when it was like the family montage?
Is that because I'm a punk rocker? Yes, I am. That one,
right?
Yeah.
They've only got. It's by a band called the Teddy Bears featuring Iggy Pop, but the version on Spotify doesn't have Iggy Pop, and you can only get it on YouTube.
If you go to can you not stream the Superman album, the movie album? It should be on there.
I'm going to double check again. It might be up now.
Okay.
It might be up now, but my I spent.
What do you think, Stu, with the music? Did you like it?
Yeah, no, it was fine. It was kind of one of the first things I noticed before going into it, that James Gunn was sharing Clark Kent's Spotify playlist.
Oh, right, okay.
And I was like, all right, this is different. There's like directors going above and beyond, adding depth to the characters. But no, quite enjoyed it. I asked my son, who's 11 and is a diehard Marvel fan, so he's quite resistant to go to this. I was explaining, you can enjoy superhero movies, you don't need to pick a side. He leaned over at the end of the movie, says, that was pretty good. Still like Marvel though. But, okay, I'm not going to take your membership off of you.
Sonny was the same. Sonny was like, I enjoyed that because it felt like a Marvel movie, is what Sonny kind of thought from it. He was like, you know, he watched a few of the DCEU ones with me, and he was like, they're all too serious. Like if this is the way they're going.
Marvel's leaned into that though. I think James Gunn and Taika Waititi have been seminal in moving Marvel from reasonably serious superhero movies. Because if you go back to the Incredible Hulk and you know Winter Soldier and things like this, they're getting serious, and it's only post Guardians of the Galaxy and then Thor Ragnarok that they've went for the kind of goofy stuff more. But yeah, tell your kids, son. There's so many good comics out there that you didn't. It's not like Celtic and Rangers or you know rugby union or football or something like that. It's not just the comics are comics, whether they're in the Marvel universe, DC universe, Elseworlds, Image, Valiant. There's so much good stuff out there.
Well, that's it. When I was a kid, you weren't really aware of DC or Marvel. You were just aware of Superman, Spider-Man, and you were wondering when you read them. And then it
We
wasn't
didn't-
until afterwards you realise, okay, well, wow, it's two different
They're connected.
companies, right? Got you.
We didn't
as you
scoff
get
at
older,
somebody else
you-
for being a Marvel fan. Kind of wouldn't have been like,
Yeah.
I talk to him, he's Marvel and I'm DC. I mean,
Exactly.
it's no. Ken, you can have your favourite James Bond, but still appreciate all the James Bonds.
Well, you see, in saying that, I had a friend, an acquaintance who once informed me on the bus that he broke up with his girlfriend of many months. And I was, all right, okay. What happened there then? Well, you know how I'm a Star Trek fan, he says to me with all his lapels and his Star Trek tie on. I'm like, yeah. Well, she was more into X-Files. And I thought, please tell me that's not the reason why they broke up. Please tell me. And then he tells me, and on the bus, oh, and she told me she didn't find me sexually attractive. Yeah, that was it.
So she liked X-Files.
Okay then.
And,
Okay then.
shit.
So it's like,
So-
on his way out, he's like, well, but X-Files is shit, you spooky bitch. It's like-
I was just like, okay, try, you know, game based on. So, oh, man. Sorry to hear. Got to work, told everyone.
Oh,
Good
you
times.
bastard. So, yeah, to recap, Superman, big bucket to win.
Yes,
Music's
yes.
great, casting was great.
That's it.
A lot going on, but I'm
It's
very
just-
much hopeful and looking forward to the
Yes.
rest of the DC universe.
Yeah,
Nice,
from what
nice
I'm-
character reveal at the end as well. And
Oh.
James Gunn has revealed the poster for Supergirl. It's online.
Oh, yeah,
Teaser
she
poster
was
for
great.
Supergirl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I should reckon some people are coming up now with fan talking about the Supergirl movie. It should just be her and Lobo trying to find somewhere to get steaming. Like it should be just like a buddy cop movie where they're sort of drunk all the time.
That was,
Up for that.
I saw an interview.
Watch
I
that.
saw an interview with James Gunn saying that that's kind of he wants to play on the idea that like that's how like he's trying to build like human qualities into the Clark landed and he landed in Smallville and had the amazing Superman's parents. By the way, that scene with his dad was incredible.
Yeah, he was great.
Yeah, and then without overdoing the parent thing again, like his dad was great. And then but then like the idea that Kara, when she crash landed, she didn't have the amazing parents to raise her, and so as a result, she would become like an Instagram party girl, like with issues, and fucking great, love it.
A slightly bland Supergirl, the CW Supergirl. Lovely though she was, the shows, the CW shows were by and large mostly unwatchable. From the point of view of a comic fan, they're just not very good. John Cena,
yeah, oh great. But kind of what you're saying as well, like kind of what you're saying, like this idea that they come in and they're like part of a bigger story. So like Superman's gone through this humongous personality crisis and had to deal with this like earth-shattering situation, and then Supergirl just shows up to get her dog back and calls him a bitch and then fucks off again. That's it, and you're like, I love that. It's so good.
Yeah, it's a very smart move as well, because one of the best things about the movie, as we've said, is the dog. So it's the fact that she collects him and takes him away. It's like, we're going to see that fucking dog again.
Yeah,
It's just the perfect kind of bridge to the next one. But there's one person we need to talk about.
No.
Nicholas Hoult.
Oh yeah, that's it. Sorry,
Yeah.
yeah, man. Yeah, he was good. Yeah, he was good.
Oh.
he's much better than Jesse Eisenberg.
Yeah, I was so surprised to see him on the cast list as Lex Luthor. Forgetting, I'm like, oh, is he old enough? Because he is forever Tony from Skins in my head,
Mm-hmm.
And
He's
then
forever the kid from About a Boy to me.
About a boy.
Yeah.
About a Boy forever. I'm like, oh, okay.
I thought it was fucking awesome. That scene where he's just horrible to Superman, the one that got like shown a lot just before the film came out, where he's like, where's the dog? And he's just like, I don't know what dog you're talking about. As he's drinking the coffee, he's just like, fucking ugly dog. It's so good. Yeah. Yeah, Nicholas Hoult was great. I even thought like, yeah. Well, the bit with the fucking monkeys are like he's the infinite monkeys typing on typewriters, but actually what they're doing is
He doesn't use AI. He just has millions of monkeys. Some great moments. I think Mr. Tag, I think I said this to you on Sunday. Big rumours was be that Cavill was going to be Ultraman, and they didn't go with that. That would have been fine. But
actually, I understand you can multiverse it and you can play around with stuff like that. I would say Ultraman and the women were my only nitpicky things. The woman, I can't even remember her name. The one that was throwing
The engineer.
The engineer, yeah.
Authority, yeah.
Because that's only because I've read enough comics to know how influential they can be elsewhere. Like, is it the Crime Syndicate of America? That's where Ultraman's from. Is that his group?
Yeah.
And,
he's parallel universe.
Yeah, and there's an animated movie with Ultraman called Crisis on Two Earths, where he's one of the antagonists in that, and he's really good. And it's him and his Wonder Woman equivalent are a couple. Superwoman, yeah. And then she's also having an affair with Owlman, who's like still my favorite.
James Woods is
Owlman's so good, man.
Yeah.
Superwoman, not Lois Lane in that universe.
Yes.
So
well, sometimes she is. I think she is sometimes.
Different versions of it. So
depending on
who's yeah. Ultraman was my only nitpicky. I was like, he was maybe wasted. They could have had somebody else from the comics, or just had him as
be somebody strong enough to go toe to toe with Superman. Though, under
could have been Bizarro, you know.
It could have been Bizarro.
That's the rumor I heard. That's the rumor I heard. It was going to be Bizarro.
One rumor is that obviously you've seen Ultraman get sucked off into a black hole. A rumor is that he'll come back as Bizarro. One of the things
I hate Bizarro. I hate it.
He's never been really, really well done. The recent Superman and Lois TV show, which was great, by the way. I don't know I can't rave enough about how good David Corenswet was. Not David Corenswet. Tyler Hoechlin was in that show. But they did a thing where Bizarro became Doomsday. The character started off as Bizarro and he morphed into Doomsday over time. It was crazy. Yeah. But that was very good. Liked it. So next, and talked about the engineer as well. The engineer was nothing like in the comics. I think she's sort of a hero from the Authority comics. Looks completely different as well. So it's interesting to see where they go with her. Next up is Peacemaker season 2 very soon. I think is it August?
August, yeah. August is looking good for telly. Like, need to get my subscriptions back up and running because we've got Peacemaker, we've got Alien Earth in August as well.
Our trailer for that today.
Yeah, the trailer dropped for that a couple hours ago.
Just watched Alien Prometheus. I watched it on Monday. Yeah, it was okay. Yeah.
Is that right? Is that the one with Charlie Theron?
It was hot. Yeah. No, that's Prometheus. I meant to say Alien Romulus. Sorry.
Alien Romulus.
My apologies.
No, seen that one.
Yeah, I'd seen it all before. It was the first half was Alien. The second half was Alien Resurrection. We kind of mashed it together, and I was like,
There are a couple of lines that they threw in, I think, for fan service that annoyed me. I was like, you didn't need to do that. The really obvious one where he like with the android, is it Andy the android, like does like he kills an alien and then throws out an immortal line, and you're just like, you didn't need to do that.
Didn't need to be there.
Like,
didn't need to do that. Yeah,
no,
didn't need to be there. But yeah, it was well made. Don't get me wrong, it was very well made. But I felt like I'd seen it before.
Yeah,
so I'm intrigued to see what they do with the Alien show. I'm intrigued to see
Alien and Predator. The only new fresh thing they've done with that in the last 10 years for me was Prey, which was brilliant. And I was recently watching the TV show Legion, and I couldn't work out where I'd seen her before. But have you seen Legion?
I've not seen it.
Aubrey Plaza.
Yes.
Disney Plus. Yeah. I haven't seen one watched it yet.
Well, the girl who's the main character in Prey is in that as well as Kerry. It's like Kerry and Carrie.
I've not seen Prey since it came out. I've not seen Prey since it came out. Like I remember it coming out and I watched it, and I haven't watched it since. But Sanguinette from Sanguinette in it from.
That's his brother, isn't it? And Prey is Sanguinette from
Sanguinette from Shoresy. best TV program ever made.
TV program ever made.
Pick your bingo cards if you're playing at home.
Yeah, we've seen.
There you
We've
go.
talked
There you
about
go.
those.
This week's
Well,
Shoresy
Aye,
reference.
give your balls a tug.
We've mentioned Shoresy and we've mentioned Dawson's Creek as well by Via Pacey in the Karate Kid.
yeah.
So there you go. Bingo card
Are we
indeed.
we need to get a bingo card, like our Shoresy reference, our Dawson's Creek reference.
Andrew
Something
hates
about-
lime in his beer reference.
Andrew hates fruit in his beer. Andrew mentioned stray dog.
I think we need to have one about a name drop of a comic creator that we have had on the show. That we're like, yeah, and Judge Dredd,
That's
and that
right.
guy. Oh.
That's you. That's always going to be you, though. That's our personal friend of the show. Blah blah blah. You're
Oh, yeah,
the
it's
worst name
important.
dropper.
I love it. I even did it last week when it was just me and John. I managed to get John Lees in there. It's like,
I remember when Dave McKean was on the show. A friend of the show, Dave McKean. Remember we interviewed him.
yeah,
What's his name? Kevin Eastman.
yeah. What's his name?
Torrin Grombeck, obviously.
Charlie
Charlie Ardlard, personal friend of mine, Charlie Ardlard.
I think I mentioned him last week as well. Actually,
Al Ewing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we'll get there, man.
We always tell these stories about these things. You should totally come to Top Bubble with us one year, John, and then you'd be able to drop names like James Tynion
I can drop names. I've met James Tynion.
and Ram V.
I've
Are
met
you
James
actually of
Tynion.
all of us? I've seen more pictures of you with famous people than anybody else that I know.
Yeah. I was out for dinner a couple of weeks ago, and John, you put up a photograph of you and from the Goonies photo session you did.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Sean
And I was
Astin,
just like, I can't even remember where I was, but I was like, oh fucking look, John, and they're like, and it's my uncle Stephen. I was with him, and he's like, who is that? And I was like, that's Data from the Goonies and fucking Sam from the Goonies, but his name's not Sam. His name's his name's Sam in Lord of the Rings. Yeah, I was like Mikey. I was like, yeah, it was
Mikey from the
Data.
Goonies is Sean Astin, isn't it?
Yeah,
But it's Samwise. in Lord
He's
of the Rings.
Bob.
Samwise.
He's Bob. He's
Bob,
Bob
sorry,
from
Bob.
Stranger Things.
Super Bob,
Bob
yes,
from
my
Stranger
apologies.
Things.
Oh,
No, he's Bob
that's another
from
thing.
Stranger Things. Huh?
Did you see
Super
the trailer
Bob.
for Stranger Things season 5?
He did that.
Trailer
Yes.
just dropped yesterday for Stranger Things season 5. Oof, looks good.
It's going to
Yeah,
dominate
I need to
Christmas
catch
and
up.
New Year.
It is going to dominate Christmas and New Year. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
Stranger Things 5.
Explain to my family why I have to sit up on Christmas Eve. Just like 6 episodes of Stranger Things are dropping it. Did we keep him Santa's coming?
She's already here.
It's not just Santa that's coming. Sorry.
Think that.
And on that note,
Yeah.
And on that note, it's
This is
10
a show
o'clock.
about children.
A show for sure.
Supernatural elements. Wipe yourself.
I'm going to have to drop out very shortly myself.
Oh no, I think I have to. Yeah.
It's 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
So
Thank you
it's
so
been
much.
a
guys.
long one.
I'm up for work in 7 hours, yes. So,
Oh, no, fair enough.
We'll come back next week. We'll try and do a top 5 go as
I
well.
think-
I've had some great ideas from them
Yeah.
for them.
An hour and a half podcast. I think I tried. This is tonight's been my fault. I was trying to keep us down to an hour and a half, but I've just missed you guys so much. So, so that's why more of your company than normal. Yeah, everyone have a lovely week. Hope whatever you're doing is quite exciting.
work.
I don't even know what I'm doing.
And remember, if you're in or around the Kirkcaldy area and you fancy a coffee, get yourself along to Beverage Park, where Wake Up Coffee can sort you out for all your coffee and light beverage needs.
We actually can as well.
A beverage, Beverage Park, yes.
Yeah.
And he will brew good coffee. There you go.
He'll brew good coffee.
Yeah, no, it's good. Had a good week. Had a good. Thank you guys. Have an excellent one. Love you all. Bye.
Cheers, guys.
Bye.